Hey everyone, it's Meanpooh here. Today I'm excited to try out Starship Troopers Extermination. The game is inspired by the 1997 movie Starship Troopers, which was released on November 7th. The movie itself was based on the classic novel by Robert H. Heinlein, first published in December 1959. The game has been in early access since May of 2023 and just released to 1.0 status on October 10th, 2024. Before this game, there were previous titles that were released on PC that you may or may not have heard of. So, with that said, let's take a walk. Starship Troopers Terran Command is a single-player real-time strategy game that was developed by the Aristocrats and published by Slytherin Software. It was released June 16, 2022. The game is filled with military propaganda, dark humor, and battles that are familiar to the fans of the franchise. The game's campaign spans a series of increasingly challenging missions, where you must use some sort of strategy and troop management to fend off waves of bugs while completing key objectives. Objectives can range from defending an outpost to launching an assault on the arachnids. There are many troops in the game that can be obtained by upgrading them as the campaign goes on. Infantry units such as rifle troopers excel at long-range combat against the lighter arachnids. These are complemented by specialized units like rocket troopers, who deal massive damage to heavily armored bugs, and snipers who provide essential high-precision firepower from a distance. Engineer troopers are particularly useful in defensive missions, as they can build turrets and set up barricades. The arachnids are varied in forces and consist of speedy warrior bugs, dangerous tiger bugs, and those devastating plasma bugs. Resource management is a key component, but doesn't operate in the typical RTS fashion of mining or harvesting resources. Instead, control over outposts and radio towers on the map is crucial, as they unlock new units and provide constant reinforcements. Because of this, you must push forward to capture these key locations while also defending your base from the waves of bugs. The gameplay of the units is pretty good, but it does suffer from the occasional AR pathfinding issues, which can be frustrating when your units get stuck or fail to follow orders during intense moments. The next game goes by Starship Troopers. It's a first-person shooter developed by Strange Light Studios and published by Empire Interactive. It was released on October 27, 2005. The single-player campaign consists of a series of missions linked by briefings. Once a mission is completed, it unlocks for replay in the time attack mode. Most missions focus on completing a primary objective, often facing obstacles along the way. On my gameplay, I'll start off in my room on one of the carrier ships. I soon leave my room with my girl still in bed. I was told I needed to see the commander, so I make my way down the hall. There were various NPCs standing around, trying to act normal and doing their daily duties. I soon found out from Commander Harris that my Marauder suit allows him to directly talk to me and give orders. As I'm heading to the firing range, there is a trooper needing some help with the power cell. Once that's done, I make it to the firing range, where I get a tutorial on the different modes and a few weapons. Now I'm heading down to the hangar to meet my pilot for a briefing. As we're talking, an emergency happens and we have to go immediately. Once on the planet, I need to head out and find Alpha Squad and give them a hand. I have to admit, the atmosphere is all here. Bugs, hype troopers, death, explosions, all to get you in the mood just like the movie. Anyway, as I find Alpha Squad, I have to take his lead. You could just go ahead, but be warned, it is possible to get killed by the plasma bug artillery. We soon come up on a wall and have to blast through to clear out the compound. By the way, there are lots of chatter coming from other squads and air support. I think this keeps the game immersive. Anyway, after getting through and clearing it out, I have to go and retrieve some power cells and give them to the mech trooper once completed. My next objective is to protect him while he repairs the system, and then I get to insert the power cell. I had to do this 3 times before the mission was complete. The mech trooper can be killed easily if you're not clearing the bugs out of the way. As I was playing the game, the voices were low and I could barely hear, thank goodness for the on-screen text. I also did not like how the person I was guarding ran off into the enemy, disregarding his life. The mission ends when all power cells are inserted and the compound comes online. I then get on the dropship for the next briefing. The next mission had me going to a downed ship to retrieve, again, a power cell. Unfortunately, I didn't make it back as I got overwhelmed. The bugs kept coming, and even though I had unlimited ammo in one of my rifles, it just wasn't enough. The multiplayer portion of the game did not work. From what I've read, dedicated servers and modding tools were never released, and lacking console and server commands made it impossible to remove players, change maps, and banning impossible. There were some patches released along with 3 co-op maps, 4 deathmatch, and team deathmatch maps. Moving on, we have Starship Troopers Terran Ascendancy. This is a unique single-player real-time strategy game developed by Blue Tongue Entertainment, and it was published by Micropose. It's a pretty good company. It was released on October 28th, 2000. Unlike traditional RTS games, Terran Ascendancy doesn't involve base building or unit recruitment. Instead, you command up to 3 squads in tactical missions. Each squad consists of a leader, 5 soldiers, and a specialist like a medic, engineer, or sniper, adding depth to your strategic planning. The game emphasizes tactical positioning and careful resource management during combat, as reinforcements are unavailable once a mission begins, and your squads are often outnumbered by powerful, albeit not the very intelligent arachnids. Enemy bugs range from basic melee fighters to more dangerous units like suicide bugs, artillery bugs, and even rogue human soldiers, making every encounter diverse and challenging. An interesting RPG element is integrated into the game, where your soldiers gain experience points for each bug they kill or bug hole they destroy. As soldiers level up, they earn higher ranks, allowing access to better armor and weapons, which are crucial for survival against the increasingly difficult enemies. The starting Cap Trooper have minimal armor, making them vulnerable to relentless bug onslaughts. Customization also plays a key role, as you can equip each soldier with 2 weapons and 2 tech items, such as bombs or toxic gas, allowing for tailored strategies based on the mission. The sense of progression, both in soldier ranks and equipment upgrades, adds a satisfying layer of depth to the gameplay. Visually, Terran Ascendancy presents somewhat of a bleak post-apocalyptic landscape, lacking fine details but effectively capturing the war-torn atmosphere of the Starship Troopers universe. While the environmental graphics are basic, the combat visuals, including the firefights and explosions, are much more interesting. The sound in the game is okay. You can hear the screeches of the enemy while they take their last breath from a bullet. Large explosions are effective, and you can tell the difference when certain firearms are used. Like in most strategy games, clicking on one of your troopers causes them to verbally respond to your commands. The music in the game was somewhat low, almost like it was ambience. There's been plenty of times when the music just blended into the background. The last game I could find was Starship Troopers Battlespace. It was an online multiplayer game using the top-down perspective. It was made by Mythic Entertainment and released on September 24th, 1998. The game lets you choose between 2 factions, the Federation or the Arachnids. You can also select from 5 ship classes, which included light, medium, and heavy fighters, as well as a carrier class that ferries troops to capture planets. The game had persistent stats where the victories and points led to an in-game promotion. Docking at star bases or planets allows you to save progress. If you die, the game resets your score to the last save point. I'm sure this adds a strategy element to the game so you won't make risky moves and take a chance of losing it all. You could also create squadrons for team-based coordination and strategic play. The game offered 5 arenas with varied objectives. In 3 arenas, your team would aim to capture all planets by transporting troops in carrier ships. A 4th arena challenges teams to destroy 4 enemy bases, while the 5th arena is focused on dogfights, with the winning side being the first to destroy 50 enemy ships. Having never played the game and only reading about it, Starship Troopers Battlespace had a mix of strategic objectives which created dynamic gameplay that rewards teamwork and skill. Now we have Starship Troopers Extermination. As you can see from the last game, it has come a long way. In many ways, this game is just like the previous titles before it. With that said, let's jump into this game. On the main screen, you have the main missions, tutorials, and store where you can buy some DLC. We're going to come back to this. Moving over to the Galactic Front tab, you will see a global progress bar complete with casualties and operations completed. On the right side, you will see rewards that you will earn after certain chapters of the game are unlocked. Clicking the View Story will give you a voiceover on what's going on. The Loadout tab is just what it is. You can customize up to 6 of them on how you want to deploy. Primary, secondary weapons, and utilities can be changed after you acquired enough experience to unlock the items. The Profile tab gives you stats on your character. Things such as hours played, kills, revives, most used weapon can all be viewed here. You can also join certain companies or create your own. Just for reference, a company is a group of players who are encouraged to play together and work within the community to achieve great accomplishments, particularly in galactic fronts. The social tab lets you see who you were playing with in your last game, allowing you to send a friend request. It also lets you see pending requests and people you have blocked. The settings allow you to set keybinds on your mouse and keyboard, and even a game controller if you have one connected. The video tab has all the usual bells and whistles with setting up your graphics and what upscaler you are going to use. For this gameplay, I will be using the Epic preset and AMD FSR at 1440. The audio tab allows you to set up the volume of sound effects, music, dialogue, and voice chat. The HUD allows you to turn certain elements off, such as chat text and crossplay. The accessibility tab really helps out people who have trouble seeing certain colors or people that can't hear. If screen shake bothers you, this screen allows you to turn it off. Now that we're back on the play tab, let's go ahead and check out the DLC packs, or rather the store. Clicking any one of these will let you purchase a cosmetic pack from the Steam store. You have to use real money here. Also, clicking it will automatically put it in your cart, so just be careful. Going back to the play tab and clicking the building tutorial, you get a brief overview of what you're going to be doing. Selecting a squad doesn't matter as you are the only one there, so pick anyone you want. This tutorial has you essentially equipping the build tool and constructing a mobile HQ. You then build a refinery and collect the resource to return it to the mobile HQ. The ore allows you to build structures on the base. The tutorial will teach you the basics of building and how to repair structures when they get damaged from attacks. You will build a few more structures before liftoff and the tutorial ends. Next up is the single player campaign. On my first two missions, I got briefed by Johnny Rico. After the briefing on my first mission, I was placed in a squad of 4, including myself. Everything but the stock loadout is locked out. The single player missions, in my opinion, are extended modules for the multiplayer part of the game. Anyway, my squad got off the dropship and headed underground into the caverns. Pretty much a bug hunt. The game ran really smooth with no slowdown at all. When bugs appeared in our vicinity, my teammates would call it out and make some kind of remark. The teammates are pretty competent and will not just stand there and let bugs get close. I did find out that you can make your teammates stay in a certain area, but I didn't see a need to do it. Maybe later in the game it would be handy, but for now, I think not. To finish the mission, all you have to do is kill everything in the vicinity. In the next mission, we had to construct an ore refinery and deliver an ore canister to the mobile HQ. This is more practice on using your build tool just in case you didn't get it in the tutorial. While carrying the ore, you can throw it down and use your weapon if there is a bug trying to get at you. After the enemy is dispatched, you can grab the ore and continue. The mission ends when an area is secure and the ore is delivered. After 2 single player missions, I figured it was about time I tried the multiplayer. I decided to try an easy mission called Hive Hunt. At the beginning of each mission, you are treated to a FedNet news feed showing what's about to take place. You are also shown the main objectives such as invade the hive, deliver the nuclear justice, and onward to glory. It will most likely go in that order. So getting off the ship, I was ready. I had my gun, my objectives were clear. After getting through the tunnel and entering into the open area, there was all kinds of action here. I didn't know what my role was specifically, so I just started shooting any bug I saw. Having the Guardian class, if you started shooting without using iron sights, you would get bad recoil, so use it if you can. I also noticed some jitters in certain areas. Visually, the bugs exploding looked great, and the nuclear packs going off on the hives was awesome, and the sound was damn good too. As the enemy gets mowed down, the carcasses start piling up. If there are too many, your character will actually start climbing over the bodies. Once the hives were destroyed, it was time to evacuate. A timer starts and you better be in the ship before it leaves. There are no second chances if you die, so try to stay with your squad. I have to say that it was pretty hectic, bugs jumping out of the ground, and the music also ramped up, causing anxiety. When you leave, you get experience points so you can unlock extra weapons and items. My next multiplayer game was an arc defense mission on normal difficulty. After we land, we have to establish a base so the arc can be started. There are bugs everywhere, so they have to be cleared out. Once I get there, I do my part by setting up the walls and trying to put some ammo crates down. I kind of forgot that if there are no resources, then you can't build. I then venture out to help my teammates get some ore so we can get the base fortified. The bugs are relentless and pop up out of nowhere, so keep your ears sharp and listen for the ground cracking open, as this is a clue. At this point, we have our base up, but there has been no gas delivered to the Ark. As soon as this happens, all hell is going to break loose. One thing to note is that the turret does not have unlimited ammo. You will have to refill them from an ammo crate, so you will either have to disengage the enemy and refill it yourself, or someone is going to have to do it for you. When the Ark activates, it's pure chaos. Bugs are trying to break the walls down, teammates are trying to repair at the same time, and the bugs will win most of the time. When there is a break in the enemy, the walls can be rebuilt. The bodies of the enemies are numerous and they just start to pile up pretty fast. This is another mission where we were able to make it off the planet with everyone on board the dropship.
As I'm about to get into the ship, I got dashboarded.
On my next try, I went with an advanced and secure mission, but this time there's a little more light so you can see what's going on. Of course, it's pretty much the same. Build a mobile HQ, build defense, and keep the bugs away. While using the turret, I started using controlled bursts and placing my shots carefully. Again, the explosions of the bugs look great, especially when it comes to the plasma bugs. I played a few more missions and enjoyed my time with it. I think this version of Starship Troopers is the best out of all versions available. The game has a decent single player campaign, it has multiplayer, and tries to get people to work together. If you can't, then no one goes home. You gotta love the amount of dead bugs littering the ground, and the game is still chugging along. The clarity of the bugs, the different types, and the speed at which they move when trying to protect the base is astounding. The game has plenty of classes to choose from with a lot of unlocks. I wish I had time to try them all, but unfortunately, I don't have it. I was quite happy using the Guardian class. The main weapon, which is the MK3, has over 400 rounds and has a special ability called Siege Mode. This mode surrounds you to provide weapon stability and increased defense. When trying to get into a multiplayer match, it was never more than a minute or two. You also get a little timer that tries to estimate how much time till you're able to join a game. There are things that could be improved, and that would be a little more optimization. There were times that the game is running great, then all of a sudden I had a noticeable frame drop. This goes on for about a second or two, but it was quite noticeable. What makes this bad is when it happened, I was in a tunnel with no enemies. There was nothing around, I was just walking, well, actually running. The game also needs some more tutorials on how to build and use certain structures. The game also needs more defense that can be built, or let's just call them more advanced structures such as mortars or howitzers. In my short time with the game, that's all I can think of that I can complain about. Anyway, like I said, this is the best version of Starship Troopers you can buy. Pretty visuals, squads, voice chat, different classes, crossplay, and an ongoing online campaign. If you're looking for a bug killing good time, this is the game for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.